All right, let's get started. Let's get started. Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 1. Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of her separation. For her infirmity shall she be unclean. All right, so it says if a woman have conceived a seed and born a child, she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of her separation. For her infirmity shall she be conceived. All right, and in the 8th day of his foreskins shall be circumcised. So, for those of you out there that will have children, look to have children. All right, you are to get those children, those males, circumcised on the 8th day. If you can't do it for medical reasons, financial reasons, whatever, there's grace. All right, there's grace on that. But the law says we are to be circumcised on the 8th day. Let's go to Luke chapter 2 and verse 21. Luke chapter 2 and verse 21. And what 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. Now, when it says when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, what is that talking about? That's part of it. We ain't ready yet. I give you a hint. We ain't read that part yet. All right, so let's read it. It says, and when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem. So we get to that in a second. Go to Luke chapter 1 and verse 59. Luke chapter 1 and verse 59. It says, and it came to pass that on the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they called him Zacharias after the name of his father. So John the Baptist was circumcised on the 8th day. Let's go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 5. Just showing you that our forefathers kept the laws of God. Philippians 3 and verse 5. Philippians chapter 3 and verse 5. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of Hebrews, concerning the law, a Pharisee. So Paul himself was circumcised on the 8th day as well. Now let's go back to Leviticus chapter 12. Pick up at verse 3. Foreskin shall be circumcised. All right, so do we only have to wait 8 days if you have a male child? Do you only wait 8 days before you can lay with your wife again? How many days do you have to wait? See who knows. That's 6 weeks. What scripture you got? What scripture are you basing it off of? Nobody else gonna take a shot at it? 40 days. What are you basing that off of, Brother Nathan, Brother Timmy? Yeah, what scripture y'all basing this off of? You want to get in the habit of being able to prove it. There you go. Good. That was read verse 4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. Alright, so she had to wait the first 7 days, then you had to add 33 more days. So that gives you a grand total of 40 days for a boy child. Alright, 40 days for a boy child. Everybody understand that? Where we get the 40 days from. Okay. Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 60 days. So, if it's a woman child, she shall be unclean 2 weeks, 14 days, 60 days. So, 14 plus 60 is what? 6 days. 3 scores, so that's 66 plus 14. It gives you a grand total of 80. Yep, let's just tell you this. And this is where we get those scriptures from. Now, during this time, is it unclean for the woman to go to the Sabbath? Can she not go to the Sabbath during this time? Yea or nay? So we're saying she can or can't go to the Sabbath. That's what we're saying right now. Can she go to the Sabbath? Type yes. Can she not go to the Sabbath? Type no. Can't, she can, yes, yes. All right, for the people that said she can't, why not? Why can't she go? Leviticus 12:4. Okay. Leviticus 15:19. Okay. All right, for those that said she can come to the Sabbath, why can she come to the Sabbath? Why can she come? There you go. She can come to the Sabbath because we don't have a temple slash sanctuary, whatever you want to call it. We don't have the tabernacle or the temple anymore. So she can come to the Sabbath. In the example, good. Yeah, no temple. Good. All right, the example is when Christ healed the diseased woman. Matthew 9 and 20. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 20. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 20. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood, same thing we're dealing with in Leviticus, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. So she was unclean, so to speak, at this time. All right, but she touched Christ's garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. So we see if she was unclean, she wouldn't have been able to touch Christ. Christ would have told her to get away from me until you cleanse yourself. But he didn't do that. All right, he healed her, and he said, Go your way. He healed her, and she was made whole. So from that, we are able to see that the woman can now come amongst the congregation. One, we don't have a temple. All right, one, we don't have a temple, and two, Christ healed the woman while she was on her period, on her menstrual, but she had a disease problem. All right, but we do not have a temple first and foremost. That's the reason why they can't come on the Sabbath. Everybody understand that? All right. All right, next question. Got a trick question. If I have a male, let's say I have twins, and I have a male and a female, how long do I have to wait before I can lay with my wife again? Male and female twins, how long do I have to wait? 80 days. All right. Nope. The answer is 80 days, like the brothers and sisters posted. Why? Because throughout the 80 days, you serve those 40 days for that boy. All right, and you just continue all the way up until 80. So you don't go 40, then restart, then do 80. No. All right, so it's just 80 days. 80 days. All right, verse 20, verse 6, verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, and unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. He shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that have born a male or a female. If she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring two turtles, or two young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her. She shall be clean. All right. Leviticus 13 and 1. Leviticus 13 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising a scab or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy. And then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of the sons of the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague, and the plague is turned white. And the plague is in sight deeper than the skin of the flesh. If it is a plague of leprosy, the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, in the sight not deeper than the skin, the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague 7 days. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day. And behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day. And behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he have seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. So right now we're seeing, if you had a medical issue, all right, you would go and see who? You would go and see the priest. All right, you would go and see the priest. They dealt with these things. Verse 8. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, it is leprosy. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. So if you got leprosy to the point where you just turn white, all right, albino, you would be considered clean, because now that's just what your skin is. All right. Verse 14. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. So if your flesh is fine, but your skin is leprous, you will be clean. So, for an example, an albino person is clean because they don't have raw flesh; they just lack that melanin. All right. Verse 15. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean; it is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto the white, he shall come unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague; he is clean. The flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil, and is healed, and in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white and somewhat reddish, it be showed to the priest. And if the priest seeth it, behold, it be in a sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy, broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean; it is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin, whereof is a hot burning, or the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, is leprosy broken out, burning, but the priest shall pronounce him unclean; it is the plague of leprosy. But if the priest look on it, behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, and the priest shall shut him up 7 days. So right here we're seeing where Esau learns how their doctors deal with things. All right, their doctors have handbooks, instructions on how to deal with everything. All right, if this happens or if that happens, then the person has to give them this, how to give them that. They learn prescriptions from us. All right, they get all this stuff from us. And right here we're seeing the priest. They had a handbook, exactly how everything works. All right, so if the plague was like this, You have to do this, they unclean. They do this, they unclean. Today, Esau, when you go to their doctors, they say, okay, how long has this been here? All right, well, this should be happening, that should be happening, blah, blah, blah. And then they issue you whatever the medicine is. All right, that was the job of the priest in the Old Testament. Verse 27. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall announce him unclean, is the plague of leprosy. And if the bright spot stay in his place, and spread not in the skin, but be somewhat dark, it is a rising of the burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the inflammation of the burning. Verse 29. And if a man or woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague. And behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. So now we see that light yellow hair going into that blonde hair was an unclean look in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. Because now, why do our women wear blonde hair today? And our men, why do they put a blonde streak across their head? What are they trying to do? Right? And what did God say about that? What did God say? There you go, brother. Then he already hit it. Proverbs 3 and 31. Let's get that real quick. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. So the Bible tells us, do not envy your oppressors. Don't try to be like your oppressors. All right? It's not profitable for us to do that. God says he was the author and creator of beauty. All right, and he made us. So why would we take away that beauty that the Most High gave us and replace it with blonde hair that was given to us by our oppressors? All right, because we envy our oppressors. That's why we do those things. All right, let's go back to Leviticus 12. I mean, Leviticus 13, verse 31. And if the priest look on the plague of the scale, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up, that hath the plague of the scale 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the scale spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the scale be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven, but the scale shall he not shave, and the priest shall shut up him that hath the scale 7 days more. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the scale, and behold, if the scale be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce it clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the scale be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean. But if the scale be in his sight at a spade, and that there is black hair grown up therein, the scale is healed, he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, or even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckle spot that grow up in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is falling off his head, yet he is bald, yet is he clean. So, for those individuals that are going bald, the Bible says that you are clean. All right, that you are clean. Verse 41. And he have his hair falling off from part of his head toward his face. He is forehead bald, yet he is clean. So a lot of brothers had to look. Right here is bald, but they have hair on the side. All right, the Most High says you are clean. The Most High says that is a clean look. All right, just don't create baldness on your head. Everybody understand that? All right, so if you brothers getting the receiving headline, and you know eventually you're gonna have a bald look. All right, don't try to cover it up. You know, most I says you clean with that thing. Verse 42. And if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white reddish sore, his leprosy, sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, the rising of the sore, is the leprosy sprung up in his bald head or bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head or his bald forehead. After the leprosy appears in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man, he is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is in his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. So that's what they will make you do during this time. Shave your head, and you have to yell, unclean, unclean, in the midst of everyone, so they would know that you had leprosy. Verse 46. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone without the camp. Shall his habitation be? So it will put you outside of the camp. You are leprous. All right. You couldn't fellowship with everybody. Couldn't come into the temple. You couldn't even live in the midst of the camp if you became leprous. On your head anyway. Verse 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or the roof, of linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything of the skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest. And the priest shall look upon the plague and shut up it that hath the plague 7 days. And he shall look on the plague on the 7th day. And if the plague be spread in the garment, either in his warp or in his woof or in his skin, or in any work that is made of skin, the plague is a spreading leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment, whether warp or woof, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin wherein the plague is, for it is a fretting leprosy. It shall be burnt in the fire. So right here it's showing us that when you have things that are such defiled and so unclean, the only solution is to burn it up. That's why America is going to be burnt up. This place is the habitation of every devil. That's why it must be burnt up. There's no saving it any other way. All right. Verse 53. And if the priest shall look and behold the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything of the skin, then the priest shall command that they wash therein the plague, and he shall shut it up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on the plague after that it is washed, and behold, the plague have not changed its color, and the plague be not spread, it is unclean. Thou shalt burn it in fire. It is fret forward, whether it be bare within or without. If the priest look and behold the plague be somewhat dark after the washing it, then shall rend out the garment, or out the skin, or out the warp, or out the wool. And if it appears still in the garment, either in its warp or in its woof or in anything of skin, it is spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that wherein the plague is with fire. And the garment, either warp or woof, or whatsoever thing of skin be, which thou shalt wash. If the plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed the second time and shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of leprosy, in a garment of woolen or linen, either in warp or wool, or anything of skins to pronounce it unclean, or to pronounce it unclean. Alright, so a lot of reading right there. Alright, dealing with the leprosy. So now let's get into verse chapter 14. Alright, get into chapter 14. Flying through Leviticus. And the Lord said unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest. And the priest shall go forth out the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, the plague of leprosy may be healed in the leper. Then the priest command to take him that is to be cleansed, 2 birds alive, clean, and a set of wood, and scarlet, and healed, and scarlet. What was that? Verse 4. Then shall the priest command to take him that is to be cleansed, 2 birds alive, and clean, and set of wood, scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it in the set of wood and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them, the living blood in the bird of the blood that was killed over the running water. He shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open field. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all his hair off, his head, and his beard, and his eyebrow, even all his hair he shall shave off. And he shall wash his clothes, and he shall wash his flesh in water, and he shall be clean. So now we see, all right, the Most High did give orders at certain times for brothers and sisters to shave their head off, but it was dealing with cleanliness. All right, if you got a disease so bad, you say cut all of the hair off. Gotta grow it back. Verse 10, and on the 8th day he shall take 2 he lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, 3/10 deals of fine flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. And the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall take 1 he lamb, and offer for a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering in the holy place. As the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own right hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and he shall sprinkle the oil of his finger 7 times before the Lord. And the rest of the oil that is in the hand shall be the priest put upon the tip of his right ear of him that is to be cleansed, upon the thumb of his right hand, upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. And the remnant of oil that is in the priest's hand he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed. The priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord. And the priest shall offer the sin offering, and make the atonement that is to be cleansed from uncleanness. Afterward he shall kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering, the meat offering upon the altar. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take 1 lamb for a trespass offering to be waved, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 of the fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil. So we're seeing what had to be done for the lepers for them to be cleansed. Verse 23. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing upon the priest unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, put it upon the tip of the right ear that is to be cleansed, upon the right thumb of his right hand, upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle it with his right finger, some of the oil in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. So as we see, the Most High is very, very specific with these orders that he gave the Levitical priests. Very simple. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves, or of the pigeons, such as he can get, even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering, the other for a burnt offering, and the meat offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of him in whom is the plague, whose hand is not able to get which pertaineth to cleansing. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, when you come into the land of Canaan, which I give you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession, he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it, to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house, and he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow scrapes, greenish or reddish, which are in the seat, which are in a sight lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again 7 days, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is. They shall cast it into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and he shall pour out the dust that scrape off without the city into an unclean place. And they shall take other stones and put them in thy place. And he shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house. And if the plague come again and break out in the house after he has taken away the stones, after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a spreading leprosy, it is unclean, and he shall break down the house, the stones thereof, and the timber, and all the mortar of the house. He shall carry them forth out of the city to an unclean place. So the Most High was very, very specific, very specific. Verse 45, moreover, he that goeth into the house, even while he is shut up, is unclean. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague has not spread in the house, after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, cedarwood, scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedarwood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, with the running water, with the living bird, with the cedarwood, with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. He shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scab. And it is a leprosy of garment, of a house, of a rising, for a scab, and for a bright spot. To teach when it is unclean, and when to teach it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Whew. All right, we're going to stop there today. So, a lot of laws today dealing with leprosy. We don't have that issue so much today, but good to know. Good to know. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. How do you do a wave offer? Go to Leviticus chapter 7 and verse 30. Yeah, it's just Leviticus. Brother Amar Kadesh Esau came out red, not white. All right. Leviticus 7:30, a wave offering. Out of his own hand shall bring the offering of the Lord made by fire with the breast, and he shall bring that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before the Lord. So you will wave it. You will wave it above your head like this for the Most High. That's all the wave offering was. All right. Yeah, he will be put somewhere separate for 7 days. He'll be shut up, kind of like in prison, confinement. He will be in confinement, so to speak. Good question. Warp and wolf. Find out. The warp and wolf is going into your fabric, kind of like the seams of your fabric. Like some parts are thicker, like they're thicker. That's what that's going into. The warp and the wolf. Difference between priest and high priest. The high priest would sacrifice on the Day of Atonement. The high priest would sacrifice on the Day of Atonement. The regular priest didn't have that. They would go into the holies of holies. Okay. How would someone get holy? We don't get holy oil today. All right, we don't get holy oil today. We do anoint ourselves with oil, but it's not holy oil anymore. Since I can't read your whole question, it says, please explain Israelite. What do you mean? And Sister Leah, like on Passover, the leaders of the congregation anoint the congregation with oil. All right, so yeah, we still anoint ourselves. The virgin birth, Sister Jacqueline, it's a ton of classes on that. All right, ton of classes on that. I ain't gonna go over that this morning. Type in IUIC. Type in IUIC. What is it called? Immaculate Deception. Bishop Nathaniel did a great class on it. And we just went over this past Sabbath. Was you watching class this Sabbath? IUIC Immaculate Deception. Watch that video. Okay, all praise. Well, you got it, sis. All praises. Yep. We went over it during the debate as well. All right. Any further questions?